you can't have your employee say "f you" to somebody else. Not saying that the "f you" wasn't warranted.
That dude.
But it's not about that, right? It's
but that's what I'm saying. That's your traditional thinking of like it's not about that. Where I'm like, fuck that. It shouldn't be about that. You know what I mean? Like we should change the way we think about these things.
But the thing is, they're gonna look at it as like if you can't have your talent has to have a level of professionalism. So you can't. It's not about. It's not.
I don't think now professionalism. You need.
I think all I'm saying is when I say
people are dying.
When I say professionalism, what I'm saying is you can say the "f you" without saying "f you." I had to tell. I'm going to share this story right now. This happened literally the night before we recorded this. I'm going to share this. Somebody on my employer's Facebook page where they posted one of my stories came at me in a certain way and saying there's something I said about one of these stories, and I'll tell you what the story is off here, Brian. But something about the stories was a lie, because everybody now that's on this side of things wants to say it's lies or fake news when it doesn't fit their historical narrative. So my problem with that is you can call something a lie, you can say whatever you want about it if you feel it's fake news, whatever. But don't say that about my work when I know I did the research and I did my fact checking. Now you're coming at journalists doing good work, and I don't stand for that. So I had to clap back a little bit at this person, right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I wanted to say? Exactly what Woj said. I wanted to say exactly what Woj said in 2 words. But I understand that will not be necessarily a professional way, so I found a professional way to basically say what Woj said, which was a little bit longer. That's Woj's only transgression here. It's not about what he said. Sometimes it does matter how you say something, and that matters too. And that's the reason I think he got suspended. Now,
he did it in a private email too. I think we should point that out.
Yeah, but
like
yeah.
I know what you mean. Like he should have thought that this might go public or whatever, but in that moment he didn't care because Hawley is such a dick.
Understood. But you got to understand in this snitching culture, this screenshot culture, there's people trying to ruin people.
Butthurt culture.
Yeah, that too. You got to think about that. And I don't think Woj necessarily thought about that. Now, here's where I give Woj credit. And I know we're getting off on tangent, but I'm glad we're talking about this. This is where I give Woj credit, Brian. Did you see Woj's apology? You know what I love that Woj did? Woj didn't apologize for what he said. He apologized for how it might have hurt his employer or his colleagues. Those are 2 different things. And he apologized exactly the way I thought he should apologize. Yes, what he said was unprofessional in terms of how it relates to working for ESPN. Is what he said wrong? No. No. And so I had no problem with his apology because I think he handled the apology A-okay. Woj going to be fine. ESPN wouldn't get rid of Woj because they need Woj. Woj don't necessarily need ESPN, and I think that's another fair point.
This was my point on Twitter that I saw some other people sort of piggyback off of and then got more attention for it because they have more followers. But this was my point on Twitter because Woj could really just go out on his own, make his own vertical, and bring in some people and profit off that and keep the profits and do it his own way because he's still Woj. He's still going to break the news. What's ESPN going to do if he leaves?
Right.
They're going to promote somebody who's probably not ready to be Woj. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
but here's the thing.
People think that at the end of the day, it's like, yo, the company, like no one's bigger than the brand, whatever. I'm like, it's 2020.
Well, it's
different.
That's a different argument. I don't agree with that. There are people bigger than the brand. What I am saying though is, there's freedom of speech has its limits. Right? Even within working for corporations. So you have to be careful about how you say. I do think now is the time to call out people like Senator Hawley. I do think now is the time to call out like the dude who tried to attack my journalism and story. And like, if my company comes and says to me, well, you could have ignored that and you could not say anything to him, I'm going to be like, no, he's coming at my work and what I'm doing. So if you come at my work and my profession and what my name is next to that, no, I am coming back for you in a professional manner, right? Because trust me, I wanted to say exactly what Woj said. It's not about Woj's response to what he said. It's the delivery of how it. Because had he wrote to Senator Hawley, had he said, you know what, Senator Hawley, your words are not helpful here. Your words are absolutely. I was about to say something else that was mean. I was trying to clean it up right here. Yeah, your words are just more divisive than anything. And you know what? I'm speaking as if I'm Woj. I'm somebody who liked Daryl Morey's tweet back when it had the thing with China and actually lost a show that was running on Tencent. So technically, if you look at Woj just kind of put his money where his mouth is. And he is lost from stuff that has happened between Chinese and NBA relations. So for this guy to come in and say the tweet he did and act like the NBA is not being all encompassing and coming in some all lives matter bullshit, I understand why his emotion here was F you. I get that. He deserved an F you. I just think Woj had to be better about how he said the F you. That's all.
I think.
Am I mad about Woj saying F you? No, I'm not mad about it.
A lot of people want to normalize a lot of things these days. Like I go on Twitter and see people wanting to normalize a lot of things. I think we should normalize fuck yous to people who deserve them.
Wow.
Without repercussions.
Wow.
Like honestly, because at the end of the day, this is one of my points on Twitter too, and people may think this is a joke, but seriously, what's Hawley gonna do? Is he gonna run up on Woj?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No. But the only
like it don't like yo, what are we talking about?
But the only recourse he has,
it's not gonna escalate to this like everyone's like, oh, we gotta protect ourselves. Like, what's he here? Does he have a hitter that I don't know about?
The only thing he can do is do what he did, which is expose it to the media, right? And know that.
But this is why I'm saying more people need to get punched in the face, because a lot of people can move in certain ways and think that there are no repercussions for it. And a lot of people that are powerful have never had altercations because they've grown up and been born into wealth and whatever the case may be, and they've never been punched in their face. A lot of people need to get fucking punched in their face.
But here's the thing.
You're saying get punched in their face, then they would know that there are repercussions to the things that they say and do.
You're saying this as though I actually think Woj saying F you to him and this blowing up in the way it does only makes Senator Hawley look bad. I've been saying this throughout.
I'm saying in general, because if Hawley's ever been punched in the face, he wouldn't have gone at Woj the way he did.
But here's the thing.
Or the NBA, rather.
But here's the thing. This is what we're talking about with white supremacy in this country and dismantling it, right? A lot of times, to your point, which I agree with to some degree, a lot of times the people that have gotten to this place is because nobody has checked them. I completely agree with that. Absolutely, positively agree with that. And so sometimes when you have the checking, I do think there's a checking and a better way than saying F you to things all the time. There's a professional way to say F you that can still get the message across and do it. That's kind of my only point here. I'm not disagreeing with you on the fact that you kind of got to tell these people to have several seats and shut the hell up. I agree with all that. I'm agreeing with that. The reason Senator Hawley even thought he could do that and make a quote-unquote power play in his mind is because nobody checked him. I don't disagree with you one bit on that. You're 100% right. I think today, and we talked about this a little bit before in the podcast last month, it's a new day, Brian. People are going to get called. People like Woj, nobody's got time for it. I didn't have time for the person that made the comment on the Facebook page, right? But I understand there's a way in which I have to move. Now, this is why I say to people all the time, you want the freedom to say whatever you want to say and you want to say F you to somebody, you know where you could do that? And it goes to the point you're making earlier. On your own platform. Because you know what we can say to Senator Hawley on this platform? F you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I might not be able to say that on something else, but we can say that. And this is the freedom and power in having your own platform. Now, what I will say, though, I do think is, and I want to be clear about traditions, and I think this ties in to a little what you're saying. Journalists in journalism right now, we have to call a thing a thing. Word to Ayanna Valzan. We have to call a thing a thing. We have to call things out. If something's racist, let's call it out. If something's sexist, we got to call it out. If something's homophobic, we got to call it out. And I'm all about that. Please, let's do that. But understand, if you're working for other platforms, you're going to have to do that in a professional manner. If you have to defend yourself as a journalist, I see nothing wrong with anybody doing that. You're not just supposed to sit back and be quiet and let people just say whatever they want to say about your work. If you know what Woj could have done? Woj could have exposed this dude's email. It's funny. What if it went that way? I wonder what if it went the other way. What if Woj had tweeted out his email that he sent it, a screenshot that? I wonder how that would have played.
Well, you know how the other side would have.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Maybe I think professionalism is a little overrated. Maybe.
Professionalism is necessary.
I just think that I'm not saying that it's bad. Like, yes, we all need some level of professionalism. I'm just saying in the times we're in, that's just not always going to be an option.
There's a way to be direct and harsh without having to, use profanity. That's kind of what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Listen, in non-professional settings,
just don't be like old school Hispanic parents where you can tell them a monologue about a bunch of different things that are wrong, and all they're going to focus on is how many times you curse. I used to hate when my mom.
Oh yeah. I understand that. It's not because people lose the message, but sometimes I think.
Yeah. But it's the words are just words. At the end of the day.
No, words have meanings and feelings.
No, but what I'm saying is just because one thing is a curse and one thing is not, doesn't make the curse invalid.
No, I don't think it does. Clearly, the curse is valid here, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about the levels of professionalism. But I do think that's Woj's only mistake. There's nothing in what he said, and I think that there's a lot of people like us that support what he said. I just understand the suspension was about the eyes or the looking of professionalism. I don't think it necessarily has to do with what it said because, honestly, ESPN's not even protecting anything in that. Now, the tradition we'll talk about here to tie this in, I'm with Brian. Carrying on the tradition of not clapping back because you think that's wrong, I'm not here for.